Happy Wednesday. What's up, everybody?
Happy Wednesday.
Black Hat
What's up?
Club today, it looks like.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, swap mine around and we'll
Oh, and like a
there we go.
gray, black, but charcoal kind of
Yeah,
color shirt.
charcoal with
Didn't even mean to, but we're twinning over here.
yeah, I think like mine's worn out a little bit. I don't know if yours that's pre-worn. Is your pre-worn?
This one's pre-worn. I mean, I got by Instagram like targeted ad. It got me good. It says fatherhood, and it's like
Ooh.
this like rock out symbol, and then like the back of the shirt says like fatherhood. It says like some days I kill it, some days it kills me, or something like that. And I'm like, this is incredible. This is like, they got me on this one. Immediate purchase.
You might have to send me that link because that looks comfy. And
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for like a comfy shirt that also looks cool.
It's very nice. It's very nice. So I gotta figure out what I'm, speaking at React Miami next week, and I just gotta know, like, I'm thinking through like what outfit is gonna be my on stage like combo,
My style has changed. It's a good thing. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Braden? What's up, Dennis? Fashion Twinsy says, I love it. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, we have a little like sidebar chat on style because I feel like mine. Like I am not young anymore. I'm 32 years old.
Definitely not. Like, we're entering like
we're entering our mid 30s.
Dads. Like we've been dads for a while, but we're officially entering like in public. People are like, oh yeah, he's a dad.
Yep. And then my wife hates it because she can't shop for me really well because I have a very long torso. So when I sit up, I am probably as tall as Will if we were both sitting in the seats. But then as soon as we both stand up, Will is, a whole 2 feet taller than me.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like it's one of those things where I can't wear comfy shirts that fit me well, but also like look nice too.
Yeah.
So I have moved into here's where my fashion has moved into, especially like for stage, like conference speaking, like what I wear on Sundays is probably like around the same thing. I wear a nice single colored t-shirt, usually like maybe like a black or a tan, and then a colored pop cardigan, like open up, like little knit cardigan kind of thing.
Mr. Rogers style
knit cardigan. Yeah. That is my go-to recently.
Nice. I've never worn a cardigan once in my entire life. And I think
I don't even know if you call it a cardigan now.
If I wore a cardigan, I think Allie would make fun of me immediately.
I don't even know if you call it a cardigan now. It's like it's a knit collared t-shirt.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Like I don't button it.
Yeah.
I just leave it open. It's more like a pullover, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No. I see. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's not a cardigan is like it's open in the front, and it's like a knit sweater, but it's
like button the bottom.
You can button it all the way up, and it's like long sleeve. There's no collar, that kind of stuff. The answer is no. I've got these awesome skater shoes. So I'm still cool. I don't have the New Balances yet, Jeff. But
I do have a couple. They're not New Balances. They're like Nikes, but they look like New Balances. And that is like, that's my go-to if I'm wearing like the baggy jeans.
Gotcha.
Like baggy jeans with those. I'm like, okay, this is like
I'm wearing some sort of. I'm wearing one of 3 shoes. I'm wearing like on clouds because I'm like doing something athletic, like I'm going for a run, or I'm like playing outside with the kids, or I'm wearing like a Van style, like a skater style shoe with like the rubber. It's got like the thick rubber sole style.
Okay.
Or I'm wearing like nice leather shoes because it's like some kind of like church or like nice event kind of thing.
Yeah. You ever wearing those like AI shoes? Those Allbirds AI shoes?
AI shoes. Oh, Allbirds. No. I think I saw something where like Allbirds is like starting AI infrastructure.
Yep. Exactly.
Like what? Oh my lord! Like that is just I did not even read that because I was like I can't get into this. I have too
You're
much
like,
going on. But
I
like
can't I
what?
can't deal with this. Jeff, yes, very similar to like the Henley. Like I almost never button it up unless it is like it looks nicer. I usually like leave it unbuttoned. It's more of like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
more of like just having the it looks nicer without me just wearing a t-shirt.
Yep. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think my conference fit is definitely going to be like a pair of jeans and the shoes that I have on currently. It's just a matter of like figuring out what the shirt is going to be. I'm leaning towards like a Remix Run shirt, even though
Okay.
it's a React conference, just because Remix is
Hey,
awesome.
they used to be React.
They used to. They're
It's
not.
fine.
They're definitely not as much anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what I end up landing on. It'll be a mystery. But what you been up to last week?
Yeah. I have been up to so last week we didn't stream the show because
No.
last week I was out of town. I was at a kind of like an all hands for Laravel
Ooh,
marketing team, which was fun. I didn't
ooh,
have to go
yeah.
that far. It was
Get to see
San
people in
Diego.
person and everything.
Yep, see people in person. And what's crazy is like two little crazy facts. It's just kind of weird about, you know, work life, but then also just the style of or like the direction and also like the trajectory, I guess would be a better word of like how fast Laravel has moved is
Yeah.
I was the oldest Laravel employee at this. That's pretty
Insane.
crazy, right? I was the OG. So
Oh,
I
like
joined
oldest as in like time, like how long you've been at
as
Laravel. So I
in
have to be like,
yeah.
you're not the oldest age wise though. Like there's some old
No.
fogies at Laravel.
Yeah, I was not the oldest age wise at this one. I was right in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, what
Oldest
was
as in like
tenured?
tenure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was the senior
Ooh,
tenure.
there we go.
But yeah, which is pretty crazy. So I joined Laravel coming up on 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May, like May 7th, I think is
That's
technically.
awesome.
But almost I think like 80% of the people who were at this marketing meetup, most of the reason why we wanted to like meet up have joined in like the last 3 months or so.
Mhm.
So it was good to just kind of like get to all be in a room. I led some improv games, which was fun.
Oh,
Um,
that sounds right
that
up your alley.
I know. There you go. We did some vibe coding. I explored Polyscope a little bit. I don't know if you've played around with that
Oh, yeah,
little
yeah. I've not
harness.
played with it any, but I saw it get announced at like EU and stuff. So I've been seeing it
Yeah, I
float
forgot that you
around.
were. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good week overall. And then recently I've been kind of keeping up to date. I said that I was getting that MIDI guitar. So like I've been keeping up to date on like those updates and kind of
Mhm.
like putting together like the actual rig for it, which has been
Mhm.
fun. So like it's been a good week overall. What about you?
So last week I did a recording with a friend of the show, Kenzie Dodds.
We gotta
Um,
have Kent on. I just was
yeah,
thinking about that because I
we
saw you
do.
on
We
this.
need to
You
have
was on
Ken
the
on.
show.
So he's like doing this. I want to talk to him just because he's been doing this series, like his new series of his podcast is about like product engineering.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this whole concept of, you know, when the actual implementation details become less important, like what matters, like when
Mhm.
agents are writing code, what still matters for the humans. And he's kind of like landed on this idea of like product engineering, where like you need to just be able to understand more how to make good decisions as an engineer and as like a product person, and like you are the technical like hero for the product. Like, what
Yeah.
does that mean? Um, and so he's been doing like a number of interviews. I think he interviewed Dax. He interviewed Dylan Mulroy. Aaron, I think was on it last week
Yep.
as well. But and he's gonna just keep going. And I think it'd be interesting to have him on just to talk through like, hey, what all of you talk to like all these people, like
Yeah.
what have you learned? Like, what are your opinions that you're forming around it? Because I think where he's headed with that is like very true. I think it's always been true, but it's
Yeah.
like even more like you could hide behind like being someone who's really good at writing code, and now you can't really hide behind that anymore. So you if you want to advance, you've got to be somebody who's like good at making like decisions for the company as well. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and I'm curious to get his thoughts on because like I love that direction he's taking because I think like I feel the same way about when it comes to teaching engineers to do
Mhm.
engineering things. It's less, I feel like we've talked about it before, it's like less about teaching people to do engineering things and more about teaching
Right.
them to like understand everything as a whole.
Right.
Kind of
It's
thing.
like it's less about syntax and more about like structure,
Yeah,
like you need to understand the system and like how systems work together, both in the computer and like in the real world.
yeah,
Like when the two meet, you like the best product engineers like know how to translate like what the computer needs to what humans need.
exactly. Speaking about people we should have on the show, this was going to be my first topic if you're done talking about your week. But Jeff in the chat
The only
reminded
other
me.
thing that I'll mention is that I've been getting like I got my talk. I wrapped up all the
Ooh,
slides today. Like
nice.
today, I finished the final slide. The talk is like first draft of the talk is done, and then from now until when I give my talk, I'm just going to be like, as I practice it like 5 million times, and you don't. So I'm going to practice it 5 million times, and of course, like probably like a few dozen of the slides are probably going to get cut to make sure I fit within the time because I always like overshoot at first.
I
But
Yeah, I can't like I practice it a lot, just not in like the exact same way that you do, which is really funny.
all right, we'll come back to that because that's like one of my main topic that I want to talk about today. But
Yeah, well, that might
what
be like the
what
biggest
did
thing
you
we
have?
disagree on.
You said mentioning guests. This is your
Yeah,
first
mentioning
topic,
guests, Jeff, we gotta schedule you because one of the things I was thinking through
dude.
is the
Jeff
little
has to get on here.
uh, Jeff has to get on here for like a variety of reasons.
Yes.
But this past week, me and Jeff argued so heavily. I'm just joking, but
Jeff
we were
clearly
going.
like had such strong opinions
Yeah,
in only one way. Like he couldn't see any other opinion but his own,
but
and
his
you had a
own.
different one.
Yeah, and me being the like extremely strong voice that
Oh,
never sees
absolutely.
anything reasonable.
Yeah.
Um,
There's no such thing
but
as gray. How dare you? There is only black and white.
yeah, we're wearing 2 black shirts today with black hats. Um, are you arguing when you're right? That's a good point. I guess I wasn't arguing. Jeff was trying to argue with me. But it's this topic of, and I figure we could do like a little snippet and then maybe we could have like Jeff on to like discuss it in more depth. But it's this topic of, do you actually learn? Because like I was thinking of like with Kent C. Dodds, and then you're talking about like having him on like for product engineering. Do you actually learn with AI,
Mm-hmm.
or are you is your learning and knowledge being disintegrated?
Mm. Ah, man, you know me. It's both.
Yeah, it's both. It's never one or the other.
It's both. Both are right. Both are like extremely valid. And
Yeah,
we are going to save I think we should save this topic for Jeff to join us because
I
otherwise
agree.
we will beat this into the ground. So we're going to save this one cuz I have like I think both have their value and like their pros and cons, but I think it would be fun to talk about not necessarily like who's right,
Yeah,
but just like ways to preserve what we both clearly care about. Like we both clearly care about like how do we grow faster and um how do we like actually hold on to information and grow.
yeah,
And I think that the reality is that like the tools that people are going to use to find growth are just going to be like AI is going to be a part of that. So like what are the good ways of doing it? What are the bad ways of doing it? Tips, tricks, etc. I think that'd be a fun one to kind of talk through of like what does growth, career growth, personal growth look like when factoring in AI to the process.
there you
So
go.
yes,
I like it.
Jeff,
That's the whole
you're on.
conversation, Jeff. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
I'm not gonna be here next week because I'll be in Miami. But
There you go. Maybe
and
so maybe
you're
me
going to
and Jeff
Japan soon, aren't
will
you?
go at it. We'll just forget you next week, and it'll
Oh,
just be
that's
me and
fine.
Jeff.
You and Jeff can go at it.
Yeah. What's up, Jason? How are you? How's the new job treating
Dude,
you?
Jason representing The company of many languages.
Company language. Subco-host. I like it. I like it. Well,
Sub co-host.
you do
Yeah,
good enough
you
job.
gotta
We'll
have
keep you on.
those like people who are like your like you can rely on them to be the stand-in. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you don't have to come on here because you have a specific topic, but you get the vibe of the show. That makes me think of like this week, the Thunk fellas were on mostly
Mostly
technical
technical.
because Aaron was
Yeah.
out. Did you watch that episode yet?
I did not watch the whole thing. I've watched most of it.
Okay. There was this line by Daniel, and I need to go. I've commented on the video. And I need to look it up because this may be some like Daniel, as always, has like such a way with like words. Like Daniel just knows how to, they both do. Like the type of person who like they've read such a like weird and varied variety of things, and they have such like a backlog of like pop culture and stuff that they can like
Yep.
have a quip about anything. Like I'm not like that. Like I am not quick enough on my feet, but Daniel and John are both that way. But Daniel said this one thing about taste, and he was like, I think taste, the way people talk about it, is like such a scam. And he was like, taste is just pattern matching earned through pain. And I was like, that is exactly what taste is. Taste is not like this like universal golden standard. Like there's not this golden standard of like this is good taste, because like taste changes over time, and taste changes based on who your audience is, what your product is, like what you're trying to do, what you're designing, what you're building. Like taste is different, but taste is a thing. Like taste, like the concept of taste is just this. It is pattern matching. I will add it here in like brackets and like parentheses or whatever, like for a specific audience, earned through pain. And like the reason why people consider like designing software, certain people have good taste, is because like they have built software and pattern matched on so many different UI issues for so long that like through that they have this like really high level pattern matching capability on like patterns and designs that work.
Yeah.
And like same with like just like artistic based design, but like that all is like varied based on like the type of the audience that you have.
Yeah.
But man, pattern matching earned through pain is such a line. It's so good.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, let's do the conference
Okay.
thing.
All right. So I just wanted to share this because I think that like I think some people don't, like a lot of people would like to speak at conferences that just don't, because they might be nervous about it, or like a lot of people like are able to speak at a conference and then they're like, I've never spoken in front of people or at a conference before, and I don't know how to do that, or like I don't know how to come up with a good topic or anything. And I thought it might be.
So you're saying even in the world of AI, we need people to teach us knowledge.
I think this is the way I will, because Allie commented on like the tweet that I made earlier that was like, guy speaks at one concert, at one conference and thinks he knows something, you know, like I think that I don't have the way to do it. I just thought it might be interesting to share my way of doing it, and my way of like approaching conference, like speaking and like coming up with a talk to share with others, because I think that it is just, I think the more context and more approaches that you view and read and like see, the better you can like form your own process. So I'm not saying follow my process. I'm saying here's my process and let me explain how I find value from it. Is the
you share yours, and then I will tear it apart and I'll say it's all wrong.
That perfect. You can absolutely try to poke holes in it. That is the best. And I'll explain why you're wrong and why my way works for me. All right.
There you go.
So this is how I do every talk.
Okay.
Every single talk that this is usually what happens before. So this is my talk for Laracon. And this is how all of them start, is like, it just starts with like a scratch pad basically. And like, you can kind of see up here, this is where I've written just like a quick explainer and a title to share like this is when I came up with the idea, and I was trying to riff on like how do I describe what I want to like summarize the talk is about for the like CFP kind of thing. And then like here below, like I don't even have anything, but like, hey, here's the here's the pattern. Um, and this is like where it just started. Like this is my talk, the whole talk. And I've just got to like fill in what these actually mean and explain them. And then like you can kind of see here, like I was on a walk the other day and I just had this thought and we're about like, hey, it's all about primitives. And so I just threw that in here. And then I was like, okay, taste and personality factors into creativity. Like that needs to be accounted for. But that is like very early on. And it is like months before like I need to have a talk ready. But like this is how it starts. And I just start throwing stuff in here. And you can see that. So this is like, I have gone through my entire React Miami talk and like written out everything that I'm going to say. And then, but I hit like a point where the talk is over. And then I've just got, I don't even know how to, is that how you do it? I don't know how to do like a line or whatever in the slash command, but everything below here is just stuff that I have thrown in over like months of like ruminating on my topic. I'll throw in like YouTube videos. I'll throw in like these little T-shaped effort, not spread thin. I'll throw in like tweets, bookmarks to tweets, like quotes that I really like, things that I like notice. Like this is a tweet, but it's because like I want to like capture this like snippet from this YouTube video, just somebody's name, and I know what this means to me. So like it's there, and then like tons and tons of like tweet references, and just like little thoughts. Like this is just what I do over like months before I even talk. Like start the talk, before I like formalize anything, before I write down like what I'm gonna say. I just like I spend the way I like to think about it is like I'm just chewing on this concept. And I'm like thinking about it, and I'm especially if your topic is like something like AI based, like good luck trying to write it months ahead of time, because like everything's going to change out from under you. But like even with just like a regular talk, like even with my talks where I was just sharing something very technical, I would still do this because I wanted to have like context. I wanted to think through all of my ideas. And then like what that allows me to do is not to like shoehorn my approach for my talk, like what might resonate with people too early, because then like by just having all of this here and being able to like throw stuff in here and like just have it on the top of my mind, like whenever I'm just like on a walk or on a run or like in the shower or whatever it is, like it's just there in the back of my mind because I know I have like this list of stuff, and I'll just throw things in here. And what ends up happening is that like I started actually writing, like legit writing my talk, I guess 2 weeks ago. And I get to show up here in this like dump list, this like mental dumping ground, and like think like, okay, what have I kind of crystallized on myself of like what matters and like what the outline is going to be. And then like, let's look through everything that I've like put in here for like what is going to be the best way to communicate that. Because I think like the reality is that like you want to like make sure that what you're saying is going to like resonate. And like one fun way that I find to do that is to have like, especially with this talk where it's about like, this is not like a deeply technical thing. It's kind of like softer, and it's got like a lot of opinions about it. And so like a large part of this talk is like, well, why should you listen to my opinions about this? And like, why should you listen to like what I'm trying to tell you? And the way that I'm doing that is by like sharing all of this context from other people. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this isn't just me making like a very narrow observation on something. I'm going to have, like 20 different tweet references from a bunch of different people that's all like they're all saying this. Like they all feel this way about this. And like that is like extremely valuable to be able to do, and like it's also extremely hard to do if you just start writing your talk 2 weeks before and are like, all right, let me pull together a bunch of references that happened over the last 6 months. And
Yeah.
like that's not easy to do. And so, but it is really great if you just like have this like giant time horizon, of where it's like, okay, I know I'm speaking at this conference. Now I'm just going to, I don't have to think of starting to work on my talk as like writing it. Just
Mm.
think of it as capturing any related concept to what you want to share, so that when you actually sit down to do the work, you're not coming up with your talk. What you're doing is you're um, like you've created all the material. Now you're just shaping it. I
Yeah.
guess is the way that I would think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so many tweets, like so many. There's just, it's going to be, I have this. So there, let me see if it actually deployed yet. This is a spoiler for anybody who's going to be at React Miami. But like one fun thing that I like to do is add like little like Easter eggs to my talks. And so like you could kind of see in this slide down in the corner, there's like a QR code. And that's like throughout all the talks. And if somebody like
Okay.
scans the QR code, it goes to this page that says pay attention to the talk, you knucklehead. But so I'm going to time it to where like at the end of my talk, this page just turns into like a tweet wall of all the tweets that I like grabbed and have put in this document as something
Nice.
that people can just like view and kind of like mention that at the end of my talk, because I can't use all of these. Like there are
Yeah.
way too many tweets. All of them are good. All of them have some context around like hiring and around like how to like get a job, or like what's important about a job, or like what's important about like engineering currently in this market, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And like there's some that I like really like, but I just I wasn't able to like fit it into the very short time that I'm going to have on stage. So that's like what this little fun little page will be at some point. Code together. What is the topic? So the topic of my talk is called AI broke hiring. What now? And spoiler alert, it's basically just saying like, hiring has never been about you. Hiring has always been about the company, and like you've got to put yourself in like the company shoes. And the thing that is most important for companies is like, can I trust the person that I'm hiring? And that kind of shows itself in like, can I trust them to do the job? Can I trust them to show up? Can I trust them to like be good communicators? It all boils down to trust, and AI has broken trust. And so the second half of the talk is like, here are all the ways to become somebody so trustworthy that you're like a no-brainer hire.
Yeah.
So that's the talk. But that's like my process. And then like the rest of it is just like, then you just make a talk. Like there's not much to it. I didn't really care to share like how I make slides is very different than how somebody else might make slides. Mine's very designery, like they don't have to be, but that's just like what I like to do.
Yeah.
And like, as you know, I practice by like saying my talk over and over and over until I've memorized it word for word so that I can get on stage and like, it's just muscle memory. But the part that I wanted to share was that like initial part, like even before sitting down to create slides and write out a talk, making a talk starts as like a background process that like goes on for months.
There you go. Jason says company shoes, new band name. But you also should play an obnoxious sound when they hit the page. Really call them out.
The page really, that would be so rude. I would never I would never embarrass
I don't know if
somebody
anyone has their phone volume on. Like who
okay,
has their phone volume on?
Apparently, I mean, it's just like you think that and you're like, how is anybody like so dumb that they've got their phone volume up? I never do. And so I'm like, this is so
Because I
stupid.
feel like for autoplay, at least for iPhones, I don't know about Android. At least for iPhones, on if you're autoplaying any kind of noise, you have to like, I think you have to like accept it or
Accept
like
it. Yeah, that's true.
play, like turn it
For a
up,
website.
even if unless you have the ringer on. If you have the ringer on,
Yes. Well, and then what always gets me is that like,
you might be right though, Jason.
yeah, nobody should have their sound on, but there's always somebody, and it always happens at church, like in the middle of a prayer, and somebody just like somebody's phone just like goes crazy. This happens to me at night sometimes where I don't realize that like I've turned the volume up, like even if it's just up one notch or two notches, where I'm like quietly gonna like, oh hey, I saw some Twitter video, I want to listen to it real quick, and I just
Yeah.
notch it up real quick. And I'll forget to like notch it back down. Allie falls asleep, like an hour before I do or more, and I just read in bed or scroll Twitter. And sometimes when I'm scrolling Twitter, I'll like you'll be like scrolling and you'll accidentally click into a video, and then it'll just be like so loud, and she's just like, "Oh, you idiot!" Like she'll just be like, "You punk! Like how dare you? I was asleep and you played this stupidly loud video."
I love it. I was gonna show like how so one of the things that was interesting for me is like the majority of my talks that I do,
Mhm.
especially now, um the majority of them like I am giving a talk as Laravel employee
Right.
for a product 99% of the time. Like at
Yep.
least like if I think about like the last 8 talks that I did,
DevRels be
only
DevRellin', as they
yeah,
say.
only one of them was 2 of them, sorry. Technically, for Wire Live, I did my
Yeah,
own.
dude, your Wire Live talk was awesome.
It was fun. It was fun to put through. But I wanted to show like how different mine is from yours. I don't
Let's
think
do it.
like mine is completely different kind of process. Um, because mine is less I've told Will this before and I've told like other people. I have never fully ran through word for word us talk before I give it. And I
Wild to me.
like it's like I don't do that to say like, oh, like I'm better off the cuff. I don't think I am. But I think that I do a better job me knowing myself personally,
Mhm.
not preparing in the same way. And so what I
Gotcha.
want to like kind of like make sure I emphasize is I
Call
think
it
that
out.
there's multiple ways of preparing
There are. And
and
there are people who
multiple
are
ways
just
of
better
presenting.
speakers, like, I'm not a good, worder, like, I'm not good with words, or I guess the way I would phrase it is like, I'm not good at being concise
Hmm.
my first time through anything. So,
Yeah.
like, yes, while I could communicate something and be very animated and be comfortable on stage saying something off the cuff, what I would not do is say it concisely. And like that's like the big thing for me when I'm on a stage is like I need to nail the things that matter as concisely as possible because I only have this short period of time. And if I don't, I'm gonna just blabber on forever.
See, whereas mine, I so let me hear. Here is the so like let's say when I knew that I was giving a talk at Laravel Live UK last year, it was going to be
Mhm.
about Night Watch. It got changed a lot of times because we kept pushing off the date for Night Watch. So this is kind of like a little
Right.
backstory. I knew that I was presenting Night Watch, but when I first heard that I was going to do that, um, I thought that Night Watch was going to be out for about a week and a half. Then it was going to be out for a day. Then it's not going to be out at all, and we're not going to see it
Mhm.
until next week. So think about like the concept has to change, but I start my talk similar to like Will. I think like I start my talks with just literally scoping out what is like one phrase or one little hook I always want to like latch back onto.
Mhm.
Like it's silly, but like that's the reason why I like coming up with names for like Riff and Refine because like I'm like, oh,
Yes.
like what's the one word that I can always go back to, even if I know it's not great, but then like that's the what I can base everything around.
Yeah,
And it
I think
probably
that's important.
comes,
Repetition
yeah,
is a huge part of a talk because, like, people aren't gonna remember a lot of what you say, but if you say something enough, they will.
yeah. And it kind of comes back around to like the majority of experience that I have with giving talks is like in church. And
Mm.
usually in church, people aren't listening very well. What they are listening
What?
for is like one or two or like three things that's like, oh yeah. At the end of it, I don't remember anything, but I remember like the one thing.
Right.
So like this is, let's say this right here. These are my notes for Laravel Live UK.
Okay.
You'll notice that this section here is actually like really well thought out.
Okay. I like how you put in like the round of applause, like they're gonna clap for me. All right.
Because almost every single thing that I do, and you'll see this also like on the LDD, like my Kent C. Dodds one. This is a little different because I talked into Claude. I was like, this is why I want to do it. And then I just kind of like gave it a sample script. I didn't end up using hardly any of this. But I always try to like think through of like, what's like, who is the person who's talking before me? What did they just talk about? Even if I'm not willing to or not able to like actually listen to like the whole talk, but like what's the actual, like what's the vibe going to essentially be within the room? Because if it's the end of the day, like I should make a note of that or comment on it. If it's the beginning of the day,
some good contextual, like read the room type material is important for sure.
Yeah. So like this was like I was gonna be like make it like a fun thing of I'm a husband and dad to two girls, but we hadn't actually like said that I was going to have a third kid at the time. And so I was like, oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And then I immediately got this visual in my head, and I'm not a designer, but I immediately got this like visual in my head of like, oh, if I put 2 on the screen, scratch it out and do 3, then I could lean into like this whole error thing.
Yeah, like scratch it
like,
out. Yep.
And that's like what Night Watch is essentially like error tracking and monitoring. So if I make this personal connection and then I just immediately go into like a red line scratch out, that is 90% of what my talk should be about. And so I went from there into literally, these are all the notes I take in sense of like, okay, this is what I want to go to. I want to go to suck. I want to keep that word. Error suck, downtime sucks. How can we make something not suck? And so then I immediately like go into like Keynote and I just start like saying, I was like, oh, like night. It's like night for me. So, but it's not really night. So it's actually only like 5 p.m. PST my time.
Yes.
And I was talking about like time zones. And then like, here's where like I get into like the downtime sucks, being on call sucks, finding errors sucks, fixing things sucks. And so slides is essentially like where I write my talk sometimes.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cause you're a riff guy. You're a riff guy. Yeah, you just look at the slide and then decide, like your slide is like a prompt for you to then like riff on that thing. And then you move on to the next, and it's like, okay, I said it. What's next? And then you riff on that thing.
Yep. So like I have the notes and then I go to a slide and I think this is my outline. Let me put in here what is going to prompt me into what I want to say.
Yeah.
And then so my prep is a little bit different than yours, where I'm not going through a manuscript 99% of the time. Like, yeah, like in Laracon, India, I did do more of like a manuscript of the things that I knew I wanted to hit. But this was me like talking through it and practicing it and literally writing down, oh, I want to make sure I say that. And then it helps me remember like the specific words I want to say. But yeah, like it's so interesting how people are different in that way.
Never mind. We're gonna share it because something that you just did made me think of something worth sharing again. All right,
let's do it.
So, spoiler alert, these are my slides. All right. So like what you said is like, I like what you said about like repetition. And then what you said about like getting like finding a shtick, like finding something that is like your shtick, whether it's like across many talks, like maybe you have a thing, like some of y'all will not be surprised by this at all. Like,
There you go.
I guess I'm the guy who puts like a bunch of words on a screen. Like I
Yeah.
had this same exact type of slide at like my past talks, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna do this at every single talk.
Open.
But then the other piece of it is like for when you're designing your slides, like you don't have to go crazy. Like we'll design crazy. Like I'm a designer. I like to design things. Like I can't not design it because then I will feel like I failed like my talk because like that's just like I'm capable of doing it, so I should do it.
Yeah.
But like there are some tips around, like there are some tips that that came to mind when you were doing yours that were like just this level of like thinking about this when you're making your slides, whether it's like designing, like you're always designing your slides, whether it's like whatever quality it is, like you are designing. And like the couple of design tips that I have for slides to make it like great, like just better, is like pick repeated themes, like pick a few things and just keep those things consistent throughout. So for me, the consistency is like, okay, there's going to be this like accenty marker style.
Yeah.
So like there's this like marker style where it's like this like neon green, and all of these like little accenty pieces are going to be throughout this entire talk, where it's like just these little like marker bits.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm doing is like a little background, like a faded background with the same marker style on every slide. And then like don't do a bunch of colors. Like there's literally just this, you could call it white, black, and an accent color, even though they're not actually black and white. They're like some shade of like a light color and some shade of a dark color, and then like a bright accent color. And then like that's really all you need to just be like consistent throughout, because then it's like really easy, because it's like, okay, I need to design this slide. Like, what do I do here? Like, well,
Yep.
I have these rules. Like, it's got to be this white. It's got to be this black. It's got to be one of these two fonts that I have like that I'm going to use throughout the whole talk. And it's going to be some kind of like marker style, something, like everything feels like constrained. And so like, even if like you're not an incredible designer, you will at least have designed something that is consistent, and there's like a single language throughout your whole talk. And like when you give yourself those type of like constraints, it like makes it easy to like kind of like, this is like what you were doing, where it's like overlaying stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's a fun, that's like that's what like hit me. I was like, oh yeah, like a little overlay thing is fun. But yeah, like you can see it's like, it's just these two colors, these two fonts, and these little like marker style accents. And that's like it. That was all, that's like all it took. So that's like that's my design tip, is like, yes, just pick a few basic, like up front, do the work of like, and like look around Pinterest. Like I have a whole, like the way that I guess we'll do this again. I have this whole Pinterest board that is like what I was using as like inspiration when I was like looking around, like what is the vibe that I want to go for.
Oh, it's still showing your slides.
I had made like a board of just like, here are these styles that I really like that I want to kind of try, and then I'll like look through these and like test some of them out until I like get the feel that I want. And then it's like, once you've got the feel, create those rules before you start making all of your slides. Like just make these rules, because then designing every slide is just a matter of like momentum at that point. You're not like designing every slide. You're just like picking like how you apply those rules to like the content that you want to share.
Yeah,
and
you're picking what's the memorable piece of content that you want.
That this is not even showing the right screen.
It's not.
Let me do that again. Here we go. There we go. Here's the Pinterest board.
There we go.
Where it's just like a bunch of different like there's so much stuff out there that you can get as reference material to be like, oh, do I like this? Do I like this? What are the rules that I want to make for this like
Yeah.
project?
Yeah. I think like it's interesting because most of the time, I think when people are thinking through talks, you're not like more people should be thinking about how someone receives and maintains or not maintains, but retains information.
Yep.
Especially like if you know your audience, like even just taking yourself as sample size of like, okay, when you watch a movie, what is like the thing that you remember? Like you remember like, oh, like there was that one funny line in it, or like I remember like that one scene, and it's like all those things are like what you take away from it, even if the movie was horrible or if it was like really good, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that message at all, like in the whole movie. So it's like I think 60% of the time it works every
It
time.
works every
Exactly.
time. Great
There's a
quote.
reason why some movies are like so quotable, even though you can't really. If I
No.
was to ask most people to tell me the full plot of Anchorman, the whole entire plot,
Oh
most
man, I
people could
couldn't
not do
tell
it.
you, but I can
If
tell
I
you a
could
bunch
ask
of
you to
quotes.
tell me like one or two quotes from Anchorman, you probably could. I
Yeah.
love Lamb. Like what? Like I
I
think
love
it's
Lamb.
all of that.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
And it's like I think we usually forget that when we get to this point of, oh, like I have this good content. I have to just I have to package it in a way that like and process so that people can process it.
I think that that's such a good point, and I think the like what people, if there was like one way to summarize that, would be like people are at most going to remember three things from your talk.
Yeah.
They're either going to remember three random things, or you can write your talk in a way that makes sure that they remember three specific things.
Yeah.
You know, like if you don't ever emphasize something, if you don't ever repeat something, then it's going to just be like dealer's choice on like what they take out of your talk. Um, so you need to choose how to emphasize at least three important things that like you want people to take away from
Yeah.
your talk. And like, yes, they can always rewatch it and go back to like some of the other things, like if they want to like dig in. But like, as far as like when the talk is over and they're walking around the conference venue later and they're thinking about your talk, or they're going to tell somebody about your talk later, they're going to tell somebody. What are they going to tell somebody? Like, hey, I watched this talk, it was really good, this is what it was,
Yeah.
and like here's what was good. And it's going to be at most two or three things.
And I think people usually underemphasize how important the intro is of a talk. I think most
Give me some
people
more context on
probably
that. What do you mean by intro?
I think most people use an intro of a way to give themselves more credit, which is a good thing. I think there's a like you need to be able to say, hey, here's why you should listen to me, just like your slide said. But
Right.
I think most people forget that like you're still on the timer right then, in the sense of when you get to the end, and most people probably like realize, oh, I need to wrap this up with a little bow. Yes, you need to like have those memorable moments, but if you weren't like calling it from the beginning of like, hey,
Mhm.
this is like this one memorable thing, even whether that's visually or like written out, like if your hook is completely different from like what the meat of your content is and how you wrap it up with a bow at the end, then it's not going to be memorable at all.
Yeah, I agree so much with that. I think what Jason says here, intro's the hook, and it can dictate whether people listen to the whole talk or not. Like, I think
Yep.
you've got a really good insight into this as like somebody who makes content for YouTube. Like, the unfortunate reality of like most tech conferences is that like people have computers with
Yep.
them. People always have their phone with them. So like at YouTube, it's like, okay, if this isn't interesting in the first X amount of time, like I'm
Yep.
just going to move on to another video. Even if somebody is paid to be somewhere and they're
Yep.
sitting in an audience, it is not guaranteed that they're going to listen to what you have to say. You have a short amount of time at the front to hook them in, or they're going to be at developer conferences, some of them are going to be like so excited about building something they'd rather be like writing code or prompting an AI, I guess now. And like otherwise, some people might just be on like Twitter, like scrolling around instead of paying attention to your talk, kind of.
And
thing.
not even like just at a tech conference, like at any kind of like a TED Talk, church, whatever. The most people are going to remember is like your valuable information is going to be more memorable to people if it is like within like the first 3 minutes.
That's so interesting. Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, I always put all of my about me's at the end.
I like that.
Unless it is like something like for this talk, since it's such a soft talk, I have like one tiny section at the front that's just like, why should you listen to me about this topic? And it's literally just like 3 bullet points of like, this is why what I'm about to say like is valuable coming from me because I've lived it for these XYZ reasons. Yep. And then I jump straight into like the talk immediately. Like I don't say like, oh, my name's Will King and I work at blah 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 and like I love design. Like
it's like a soft talk in those kind of ways, because like your personal experience matters for that. That people want to be listening to. Like if you're like, oh, you've never gotten fired your whole life, well then why are you going to listen to AI killed hiring kind of thing?
Yeah. Very true.
All right, I have something neat to show.
Hit me.
I saw that this is one of those things where like I am a huge, some people might hate it, but the new YouTube algorithm, for those who don't know, YouTube is doing a better job of trying to push content from channels that are like less than 1,000 subscribers, less than even 10,000 subscribers. They're trying to push that more.
I noticed that X did that semi recently as well.
But I found this like little short that I want to share. That is like, I think is so valuable to think through how good content is still good, even if it doesn't have the same reach.
Okay.
So here's a little short about synthesizer. It's 2 minutes.
When I press this button, it makes this sound. It's a skinny pulse wave. It's a little bit loud and buzzy. Let's filter it down to just the low parts of the wave. You can only hear the low parts, so let's unfilter it. See, now it's too buzzy. We need to filter it as we're playing the note, but we want that to happen just by pressing a button. So let's turn on some envelope. See, the envelope makes it so whenever I press a button, the filter moves. A little or a lot. I like it a lot. But whenever I stop pressing a button, well, the note stops. So let's flip the switch so it keeps going. It can go as short as I want or as long as I want. And I don't want it to go that long. So let's turn it down and turn on a second wave. Yeah, this wave is tuned differently. We can tune waves to different notes. Like, for example, they're tuned to the same note, or different notes, or even other different notes. Yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. Let's hit record and play a little bit of bass. There's a little bit of bass. Let's play it back. Let's turn on a bass wave. This wave is lower than the first wave. Same note, but lower. Let's turn on the wave that's out of tune. Let's transpose the bass line. We can move the bass line around. And it gets a different vibe when we move it around. So
Dude, I love that.
It was so like I immediately subscribed to this dude. I think he only has like 12K subscribers. I'm gonna have to like find where it was again. But literally I think like the thing that made me excited about this only 12K. Yeah, sorry. He has like the same amount as me, I feel like. So like I think like that's only. But like the thing that like got me excited like when I was watching it is one, like I felt like there was things I know what an envelope is, I know what filters are, I know what bass is, I know like what he was explaining.
Right.
I've heard it before, but being able to like have this thing of like, oh, I'm like visually seeing it and hearing it like on that little screen in the background was so cool.
Yeah.
And then it was just fun.
Super fun. Like that was just the vibe. That is like, to me, like that is okay. We're going back to conference talks. That is like the perfect representation of like what a conference talk should be. Like or public speaking, just like any type of public speaking. Like your point, like the goal of a great public, like if you want to have a conference talk that people talk about, it's not just about having accurate information. You know, like you could have sat there and explained, well, this is an envelope. Here's how an envelope works. Here is what blah, blah, blah. Like he could have explained all of those things and been correct about the information. But like, and then also he could have like played a pre-recorded something and explained it while it was happening. But I just really think that like like being able to balance, there's information, there's context, and there's entertainment. I think those three, like that's what that video had. Like that's what any good like public speaking like conference talk has, is like you've got to have good information. You've got to have like the context for like when that information is valuable and why it's valuable. And then like you've got to be entertaining. Like you've got to be able to present it in a way that people are like, okay, this is a vibe. Like Jason and Braden were both just like, man, this is so good. And me, like, I couldn't not like bop my head to it. Like, obviously your conference talk isn't music, but like that should be how the audience feels while they're watching. Is like, oh man, like this is so cool. Or like, oh man, this is like really interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like it did well for him, because that little short got him 1 million views, and I literally, when I sent it to Will last week, I think he had 12K subscribers, and I asked like 20.7. So there you go. Dude. Aaron Batzdorf, Batzdorf.
Josh counts for 700K. Just us watching it on repeat for sure.
But yeah, like I think you're exactly right. It's like it's one of those things where, and if we want to even like dial it in even more, I think another like maybe hot take is most people at conference talks, even if you're doing a technical talk, usually think that you have to be incredibly technical. Hey Ezra, how are you? But I think most people under emphasize that you don't have to like literally dive deep into every single thing to still make it memorable. When he was saying, oh, like he probably has the knowledge to say, oh, that sound is like a third above it. But he said that sound is a different sound. And then he's like, oh, right, he's like, it's different. And so it sounds cool. And it's like, he's showing, so he doesn't have to tell. And so if you are showing during a talk, you don't have to talk about like how
people can like, feel the information. You don't have to tell them the information.
Yeah, exactly. And like we could remember a lot of like what he like said like during that 2.5 minutes, but at the same time, like it wasn't musically technical. He was just telling you like these like 3 terms: envelope, filter, and like a wave, and then that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it was even so much like at one point you could hear the LFO going. Like he added in an LFO filter so that there was like a little wavier at one point, and like he didn't even mention it at all. It just was like, oh, this is so good. And
like,
because
let's turn this
of a talk, to me, like the point of a good conference talk, unless you're at a conference where they like you have an hour-long slot and like the whole point is that it's meant to be like information dense, teach somebody how to do it, like even then, like good luck trying to actually do that successfully. But like most conferences, they're usually 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes tops.
Yeah.
I think in most times. And the reason is because like the goal of the conference talk is not to teach someone exactly how something's done. It is to get them like started on the path and excited enough to like keep walking down the path when they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a point in my talk where I literally have to be like, hey, like there are so many more details about like my approach on this that I have no time to talk about, but like we're at this conference together, like please come find me and like let's dig into like whatever you thought was interesting, because I have a lot more to say about it, but like I can only say so much while I'm up here on the stage, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sweet. You got anything else, Josh?
The last like little quick topic I figured like we could chat through was I was curious of like, when do you get to a point where I was thinking about this like with AI and just with like personal life. We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I was thinking more from even like the whole conference talk. When do you get to a point where you realize that the work and effort you put into something does not outweigh the result, and so that's where you use something different, like something prepackaged, something you buy something.
Yeah.
So that makes
build,
sense.
Build versus buy, but just
the whole build versus buy, but in the sense of like a conference talk too, because like you could build your whole, you could build your own like Keynote or Figma to do your designs,
right?
But you're not. You're using Figma to do it, and you're using like
I built
a custom thing.
I built something because I wanted to like include some more like web-based stuff in a slide, and I was just like, I ain't got time for that. so I stopped. But
there you go. So like when do you reach something, whether it's like for conferences or anything else, when you're like, I'm just gonna buy it?
That's a tough one to answer. So like I think it comes back to like what I said about like who are you? Like what is the goal of what you're trying to communicate? And I think for like a lot of people, like your goal is not to communicate that you're good at design. Or good at original design. Like that matters to me. Like design is like a huge part of like who I want to be professionally, and who I like, how I want to be perceived professionally. I want to be perceived as somebody who is like a good designer as well as a good engineer. And so like it's very important to me that like I make really good custom designs every time I present, because I don't ever want to get up on stage and they're like, oh yeah, I recognize that canned thing, or something. But the other reality is that like if I was only an engineer, then like that's not like I might not even know how to. And like instead of trying to spend time learning something that isn't what I want to be perceived as professionally, then I should be just get something. Then you should buy something that you know is going to be good. That way you can focus your time on like the parts that matter for like how you are perceived. And I think that is like, I think that's kind of like if there was like a core part of that decision process is just like how much of what you are trying to decide on whether to build or buy relates to like how like your perception. And I think that applies to like you personally as well as you as like a company. Like you can think of it as branding, I guess, like you are a brand, like you are perceived in some way, whether you intentionally craft how that perception is or you just are letting that perception be like whatever it is, those decisions help shape your perception of your personal brand or your company's brand.
Yep.
And you should never compromise on the parts of like your brand or perception that you want to control, because like when you compromise on those and hand it off, like people notice that, and like you no longer get to own that part of your perception. I guess is the way I would think about it. And so I think that dynamic, you can think about that from like a business where it's like, well, why would I not just roll my own auth versus like using this off the shelf auth system from WorkOS or something? Like, are you an auth company? Like, are you a security company? Are you something like where that is like so a critical part of your business and like the perception of who you are as a business? Or like, are you an open source business? Like, are you somebody whose like perception is that like we are open source and we share everything that we do, and like you can look into how we do things? Then like, yeah, you probably want to write your own so people can like observe how you did it, kind of thing. Like you just got to think about that, like just the way that I would make that decision. It's just like, what is the perception you want to have as a business or a person? And then like, does buying something pre-built remove control you have over that perception?
Yep. I agree. I think the other thing I'd add is we've said it before, but like it's one of those things. Well, not only does it fit perception, but does it fit what your intention and like desired outcome is for the situation of like, if your goal is to like, hey, as I'm building this, what I'm wanting to do is like better myself, or like as I am like creating this talk, what I'm wanting to do is like better myself and make my life better in the future for a future employer or something like that, then maybe you should build something and not just buy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like if your goal is to like learn how to do something for the purpose of like showing that you know how to do something, then like, yeah, don't buy the template of it and plug it into something and say, yeah, I figured it out. Like that doesn't work. But yeah, like it's like after the Laracon talk, when Aaron came on the stage and was like, Will, I can tell you that every single speaker back there is so mad looking at your slides and how well they were designed, kind of like made some like passing joke comment about like how they were jealous about how good my designs on the slides looked. And I was like, well, they better, like in my mind, I was like, good, like they better be, because like I spent so much time trying like with that as the goal, like that was the whole purpose of like, I'm spending a bunch of time focusing on that, and that I want that to be perceived when people see that is like, oh, dang, like that's really good. He clearly tried really hard to focus and do a good job of that. And like, I'm glad like that was like good feedback that like I achieved. The time was well spent, like it was a lot of time, but it got the outcome that I wanted from it.
I love it.
Cool. Well, what you got going on next week?
Next week, I think the MIDI guitar that I have, I think is going to be here by the end of next week. So I'm excited for that. I guess that'll be technically next week after next week's show. But this next week, I don't got too much. I don't think I've said this yet on the show, but I coach my daughter's soccer team. And by coach, I mean like I wrangle 3 and 4 year olds to try to kick the ball into the right goal.
Tell who's supposed to be on the field and who's taking a break.
I would not even that. They just take their own breaks. They're like, hey, I'm walking off. See ya. Yeah. It's like everyone plays as much as they can. Sometimes we have 3 people on this team on the field at any given time. Sometimes we have 7. Sometimes we have none. But no, it's fun. And so like that would be like that'll be this week. And we actually have practice like later this evening, and then like fun game on Saturday. But then other than that, I think like my journey of like doing a song a week, like trying to like record something substantial, has been going good so far. I missed last week, but I started doing one last night, which was fun.
Dude, that's awesome.
And now I am like building out a rig that I can have a microphone and my like MIDI guitar. Jesse, good to see you. How are you?
You made it just in time to say goodbye.
Just in time for us to leave. But the whole rig's purpose is like I'm wanting to do like more of like a looping thing of like, okay, how can I like make a song
like that one guy that you showed me who like walks around New York.
Yep. So that is what I want. So I'm slowly putting that together, and it's all powered off a little iPad so far.
Sick. Be like the old Bert from Mary Poppins, just a one-man band.
Exactly. What about you? What you got going?
Well, since you mentioned it, I'll mention it as well. I don't coach anything, but we are deep in 2 kids in sports. This is our first like time where during the seasons we have 2 kids playing 2 separate sports at the same time. Palmer's been playing soccer for the past like 2 years, and that's like on a Tuesday and Thursday every week in the evening. And now we have added in Wilson, who is playing t-ball. And so now we're like full on busy parenting, like spending most of our time not at home and at like either a soccer field or like a baseball field kind of thing. And it is just so much fun. It's going to be so much fun watching. So this is like her 3rd season in soccer.
Okay.
And it's so fun watching. I remember what it was like watching them play as 3 and 4-year-olds. And now like she's like the 6-year-old level. And it is just so fun to see like how much better they get. So you're gonna have a real good time getting to just watch how much better she gets each season. It's so cool to watch. And then t-ball is just hilarious. It's like the 3 and 4-year-old thing all over again. Like they all like someone hits the ball off the tee, and then they all just run around and like dogpile on the ball to see who can get it first, and then that's it. You know, like that's the whole game. Somebody hits the ball off the tee, they dogpile the ball, and then somebody hits the ball off the tee, then they dogpile the ball again on repeat for an hour. But it's really cute.
I love it. That's awesome.
And then next week, I am headed off to React Miami. Looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. Tried to get Allie to come with me, but she can't this week. They've got like a really important school like event at school that happens every year, and it just happened to fall during like the Friday that I'm going to be gone. And so she couldn't come with me because she has to be a part of that event. But she's going to come with me to Laracon US in Boston. So
nice. I remember you saying that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. But yeah, that's it for me.
Nice. I love it. Well, thank you everyone for being here and joining us on this lovely Wednesday. I'm excited for next week.
Y'all have a wonderful week, and I will see you in 2 weeks. We'll see if Josh wrangles a guest for while I'm gone. Who knows?
That'll be fun. We'll come back and
I'll see you next week, Braden, in person.
Yeah. See you next week, Braden. Hopefully you'll be watching us instead of Will. No, I'm just joking.
That would be incredible. All right.
Is that the same time? That'd be funny if it was the same time. All right. See you, everyone. Happy Wednesday.